Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. Once again, I have Miss Rachel Maldonado with me. She is a therapist and a life coach, and we're talking about asking women out on a date. Now, you might turn this around from your perspective if a woman decides she wants to ask a guy out, but with the way things are nowadays, and granted, I haven't asked a woman out since my wife, and that was over 6 years ago. I don't know how men handle it when they're single and they want to go out with someone. How do you approach somebody without looking like a total doofus? You know?
Oh no, Kyle, you were asking the wrong person. What? I am a therapist. I am not a dating coach, but I do have a lot of guy friends. And, usually they don't really talk about this part. They're more bitching about their dates. So, I am not the expert. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk on a few points, and I'd like to get your opinion on it. Uh, I know guys, at least in my circle, they're a little bit more reluctant to ask someone out nowadays. One, some women actually get offended because they're like, "Why are you looking at me like that?" You know, the it's kind of like from, I guess, the feminist point of view. They get offended by it. They're almost like they're bothered by it. But back in my day, we're going back, almost 40 years. You, when you wanted to go out with somebody, you asked them out, you got a yes or you got a no, and then it was over with. Today, it seems almost like it's you're being accused of, I don't know, almost like I'm trying to find the right words here. You When you approach somebody, you're being offensive sometimes. You're um, I don't know exactly how to describe it. It is on the offensive line to some people. It's like you're harassing them. I guess that's the
Mm,
word I'm looking for. So what do you say to that?
mm. You know, I definitely feel for men because I think that it can be completely different scenario.
Hmm.
If the woman was single and a guy came up to her and she liked that guy, she thought he was attractive or something piqued her interest, she would be happy that he paid her attention, a compliment, or asked her out. Another guy that she doesn't know, she just, she is not that interested, her interest isn't sparked, she will blow him off. So it's very difficult because you never know which camp you're going to end up in, and you don't know till you try. And I truly feel for men in this scenario. I think it's really tough.
Well, I mean, personally, I think some guys are discriminated against because maybe they're not the most attractive guy in the world, but they're lonely. They want attention. They want a partner, someone to talk to, and to be accused of things such as sexual harassment just for asking someone out on a date, that seems unfair.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that that's very rude. I think that, you know, for women, it would be nice if women were polite. There's a way to let a guy down politely. If you're married, if you are already dating someone, or you're not interested, there's a way to do it politely. So, I agree. It's kind of tough being the one to ask.
Well, I'm flattered if somebody asks me out, but I'm very loyal to my wife, and I think more guys should be that way. If you've committed to someone, then you should be committed to someone. Uh, um, don't take that for granted. Not enough people are sticking with the marriage for very long, or even a dating situation. It's The grass is not always greener on the other side, but you've committed to someone, and that to me, that is a bond that you shouldn't break.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of going in a different direction. There's if you're single and you're asking someone on a date, and then there's if you're married and you're also looking for a date. So that's what Ashley Madison is for, and that's kind of like a completely different scenario.
Right,
And
right, right. That's a different subject.
with those individuals when they show up to me later, before they call the divorce attorney. Yeah, they get.
Right, right.
So
Well,
that's not my area either. How to pick up women when you are married.
no, I don't advise that.
Other end of just tell that man no.
Well, I'm very polite about it. I don't try to embarrass the person or make them feel bad. I just let them know, hey, I'm married, and but in the same sense, if you are a single person and you're not attracted to someone and they ask you out, don't take it as harassment. You should be flattered that somebody looks at you that way, and just be polite about it. I mean, even if you have to make an excuse and say, "Hey, I'm already committed to somebody," is that too much to ask?
Yeah, I think that is appropriate. I think that kindness, being polite, should be normal.
Right. Well, in this age, and especially with the Me Too movement going on, and I do sympathize with women. I know there are women out there that are abused and taken advantage of, but not all guys are like that. I don't care what people say. Not all guys are pigs. You've got some nice guys out there. So when they get treated as if they are sexually harassing someone, what do you do in that situation?
Well, again, not my area, but are your guy friends being treated extremely rudely?
Some guys are. I'm not going to say all of them are. I mean, there are some women out there that are polite about it and say, I'm not interested, or they do make an excuse. But there are those that it's like they're frightened.
Mm,
What does a guy do in that situation?
okay. Yeah, if they're frightened, I would have to little know a little bit more. I will say that, you know, with the women who are frightened, this is more on a first date type scenario where there are even articles written about this where sometimes women will let men down very gently. Say the guy wants to go in for a kiss or try to get physical or something like that, and they don't want that, because some women have been in situations where it escalates and they do feel frightened. So, assault, these kinds of things, women actually have to worry about these kinds of things, and men less so. Just less men are worried about, like that they won't be able to handle themselves and they'd be safe. So, physically. So, when you say frightened, I am thinking more when it is farther along. And a lot of times women will mislead men in that way because it only takes one time for women to, just be a little cold or abrupt. And, if the man lashes out, and you don't know this man and you're a little bit worried about your safety. So women have that fine line of trying to de-escalate and make sure they are safe and don't offend this man. You don't know who he is. You don't know how volatile he
Of
is.
course.
So when you say frightened, that, I'm intrigued. Like, I'm like, okay, I I don't know how many women are frightened when you ask them on a date. That seems a little interesting to me.
It sometimes happens. I'm going to say it's a frequent thing, but it does happen from time to time. Okay, another question for you. As a life coach, you've got a guy that maybe doesn't have very much confidence.
Mm.
Maybe he's not the best looking guy in the world. Maybe he doesn't have that much money. All he really has to offer is himself, but he's reluctant to do that. What kind of advice can you give a guy that maybe isn't the best looking and all these things I've described?
So what is this man's goal? Is it to have a date, a girlfriend?
He's looking for a relationship.
Okay. So I would say that for that kind of guy, you have to really look at yourself, because you cannot say I have this long list of things I must have, but I myself am unemployed. I myself don't take care of myself. I could stand to lose 50 pounds. I myself smoke, don't take care of my health. So I would say, just sort of look at yourself, focus on things that matter to you, your value systems, and then as you solidify something that is good for you, you will know more what you can get back, kind of
Right.
thing. So if you have a job and you can pay for dinner, you're going to feel more confident being able to ask a woman out and be able to pay for dinner. And then, sometimes people, they both pay, but you want to be able to pay if you want. So little things like that, don't make it big, make it very small, like very manageable. My goal is to not be terrified to speak to women. My goal is to have a job and be able to pay for dinner. I know that these sound very, very, very basic, but you said a guy who's insecure and he doesn't know what to do and he's at ground zero. Most men, if they're a little bit older, like, this is stuff they know, they do, they have a job, these are not, that's not them. This is the socially awkward, inept man.
Mm.
He's got to start small.
Well, I know for me, my first marriage, I got married very young. I really didn't know what I was doing. It wasn't the best situation, and I kind of lost myself in the marriage. And then I got divorced, and I'm single. I'm in my 30s and single guy. Hadn't asked somebody out in years. Didn't know what to do. I come from the old school. You just ask somebody out and you took your chances. As nervous as it may be, you just took your chances. But none of my relationships really worked after my divorce because I didn't take the time to get to know myself again.
Mm, yeah,
So I think that's very important for men to take a little time for yourself and remember the things that you like. Remember the things that make you happy and learn to love yourself.
yeah, yeah. If you want to have confidence and you want to be able to ask women out, then you have to have something to be confident about. And a lot of times these can be two or three traits.
Mhm.
They can be, I am good at this hobby. I am competent at this aspect in my job. I am kind in these scenarios. Nobody is perfect. We're all a
No.
work in progress, but you just got to pick a couple things. And then you have these things, they're the baseline, the foundation. And then when you go out, you don't need the validation of others. If they say no, that's okay. I mean, they don't even know you. They don't know how amazing you are. They don't know that you're kind at this and you're good at that, and blah, blah, blah. And so when you have a few core value sets and you actually know what they are, and you have some real confidence that is tangible, it's tied to something that you do or something that you believe in. When you go out, it's authentic and you have confidence. And you're not, completely crushed by any kind of rejection because you have worked on this baseline for
Mhm.
yourself. You cannot destroy a baseline, the core values.
Well,
Yeah.
I did notice that, I'd set some goals for myself. Number one, I was not healthy at the end of my marriage. I had a heart attack at 36, um, alcoholic, drug addict, the whole nine yards, overweight. So number one, I started, well, let's back up. I quit drinking, I quit doing the drugs. I started to eat more healthy, started to exercise. And once I had shaved off the weight and then felt better about myself that way, and then I didn't have the drugs and alcohol to cloud my mind, then I noticed a confidence that I didn't have before.
Yes.
So yeah, any guy, find some goals and
Mm.
work towards those goals. Once you start to accomplish those goals, you will get a new confidence. And I think you will feel better when you go out. You'll have something else to offer somebody else.
Yes. And it takes two to tango. So, if you have something and you're like, I'm proud of this, or I feel good about this, something about yourself, when you go out there, that confidence, women like that. And they'll know, like, oh, you have a job. You say you're good at this. It is genuine. And, pickup lines or asking someone out, like, that's child's play. Eventually you can find someone to go on a date with you, even if you are broke and, a drug addict. You can. That is child's play.
Hmm.
What you want is to be able to find someone that you like, who likes you back. And that is what's, the real stuff.
Oh yeah, the compatibility. You have to have something in common too, and don't you know don't lower your standards. I guess you'd say without sounding arrogant. Don't just settle, because I
Mm,
know some guys, they will just settle just because somebody gives them attention, and then they end up in a long time relationship, and then it ends up failing because you don't have anything in common, and you have just settled for anybody. I've done that.
interesting. You know, I it's a little bit difficult for me to wrap my head around the concept of settling. I I don't like lists. A lot
Right.
of people, dating coaches and that, they'll tell you have some old big old list. And I remember when I was in college, and this was decades ago, I had a girlfriend and she had this list, and I'm just really young and I'm in college and whatever, and she had this list, and I remember being terrified, like, dear God in heaven, her list was so long. And I decided right then and there, decades ago, like, lists are bullshit. Because I was a woman and I was like, how there is no man on the planet that can meet this girl's list. And I was so turned off by her list that I have sort of been list adverse ever since. And so, in my mind, and the thing is, it's a continuum. People change. That is the nuance. So, someone who is in their 20s, later on, they have a family and they have kids. Later on, they're divorced and they're in their 50s. People change and the world changes. So I think of it more as a continuum. So know where you are at in the life cycle. And then also the value sets that you have. So, instead of a list like I must have this, this, and this, throw that out the window. I would say, hey, what are your value sets? Because
Yeah.
compatibility, I'm not huge on that myself. I think that people who are opposite or very different can be okay. I am looking at the value sets. So one example, if your value is family, I want a family, I
Mhm.
want children of my own. If you find someone and they're like, I already had my kids, I don't want to deal with kids, or just, or if you're a man and you met a woman, she's like, I don't want kids, and you're like, I grew up in a, I had a big family, like that's what I envisioned for my life. Family is a value, and that would be very difficult to reconcile because they are very far apart. Compatibility is, like, I have a lot of guy friends and I talk shop with them about cars and stuff, and I sound like a complete idiot because I like know nothing. I don't have to be, we don't have to be compatible in interests and things like that. That's, again, that's child's play.
Right.
It is the values is the piece that will make or break you in a way. So I know it's kind of semantics, and in some ways we're talking about the same things, but just look at that continuum where you are, because that will change, and then those values will also change. If you wanted kids in your 20s, but now you're in your 50s and dating and you had your kids, that is no longer a value set.
Right.
Now it might be loyalty. Maybe you had your partner cheat on you. So now it's loyalty. The values and the continuum that they are on will change.
True. Well, you have to live in reality. I saw a video the other day. They were doing a podcast, and they had these young women on there, and I mean, they were busty, shall I say? They were pretty ladies, but they were. they wouldn't even consider dating anybody that made less than $500,000, and they were not about to cook for them or anything else. Like, okay, come on.
Okay. They should book an appointment with me. I can help these girls. I'll help them. Honestly, they're not going to find a man.
Right.
So that income set is very rare. I don't know the percentage off the top of my head, but it's a very small set of people who make that kind of income. I actually have friends. I know people who are in the income because I have a lot of doctors who are friends, etc. But it is in reality, it's a very small income set. And then also whether you cook or not, because I can't cook. I'm terrible. Like I'm really not a good cook and I'm not domesticated. I'm worse. So, no judgment, but that attitude, like I won't, you know, uh I mean, I don't know about you. I'm not a man, so I can't speak to that. But if I was a man, I would be running and not walking. I think a man is okay if you can't cook. A lot of my girlfriends, they're married, they don't cook. A lot of men are really good cooks. I have a lot of guy friends, they'll send me pictures of their gourmet meals, and it just makes me sick. They're such good cooks. So, that's fine. You don't cook, that's okay. But that the expectations, again, going to these big old lists,
Hmm.
and then the attitude. I don't think those girls are going to find a man. Like this.
I would see that as being difficult. I'm just going to be blunt here. I think some guys need to step up and be men again.
Hmm.
We are dehumanizing men nowadays and basically making them feel worthless. A lot of guys are feeling defeated. You need to stand up and be a man and
Hmm.
teach your children to be, young ladies, young men, have values, because it seems like values are getting thrown out the windows nowadays. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's just so much, cheating, and you've got people that just will do the most vulgar things to other people. It's sad. You really should step up and be a decent human being. Now,
Hmm.
when I say be a man, let me tell you, I have no problem cooking. I love to cook, so I don't mind sharing that.
You're one of those.
I'm one of those.
Every
um,
man that I know is good at cooking. It's amazing.
well, when I got married the second time, I did find somebody that we had a lot in common, but she also brought a lot to the relationship that I had never experienced before.
Mm.
Different places and different experiences, and
Yeah.
so we've got to share a lot of that stuff because I had things that I had done and places I had gone to that she had
Yeah.
not. And so I learned to like new things. She learned to like new things. We got into this relationship. It was 100, not 50-50.
Mm.
So we share cooking, we share cleaning, taking care of the grandkids and that kind of thing. And that was very important to me, was family. I mean,
Yeah.
even though both of our children are all five of our children are in their 20s, of course, when we met, we were in our late 40s. I was not about to have another baby,
Yeah.
but we've got the grandkids now, and we're all about family.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's part of that core value that I think is important, is you need to find somebody that has those same values. And maybe you're a person that doesn't want kids. You're The reality is you're going to have to find somebody that doesn't want kids, or you're going to have to change the way you think.
Yes, there's only two ways to go about it. Yes, and I really like you said, it would be nice if men stepped up. And I know that it is hard. It is not easy to do this. And especially if it's a hostile climate or you view things as hostile, this is not easy. But I think that you are on the money, and I want to support this, that, men never stop trying, step up, find other good men who are role models. Because again, if you want to be a good man, you have to start somewhere. You got to start small. And then you find that, you make good choices and you become a better and better man. And the better man that you are, you will find a better and better woman that
Exactly.
fit for you the values that you have. Because, we're all valuable. We all, have worth. But you want to meet someone that in some ways is your equal in something that is important to you. Because I did a little video on, are men intimidated by smart women? Because this is a myth out there. And I know that there are a lot of opinions on this, but my opinion is that no, I don't think so. It just depends on the value that you set on it. So if a woman is smart in physics, but she values that the man is good at mechanics. If you value something else about someone else, it doesn't matter how good they are in another area. It's okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. You can appreciate they're smart in something else than you. So, I really appreciate that you said that. Step up, men, step up. It's worth it.
Oh yeah. Well, you do have women that are very intelligent and they are very good in whatever field they're in. And maybe the guy is not considered to be a that intelligent because he works on cars and stuff. But I mean, I don't work on cars. And when I see somebody that does, I'm like, wow, I wished I could do that. So intelligence is not measured by what degree you have. It's how well you do whatever it is that you do. At least that's my opinion.
But my opinion is being good at something.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, cars, I'm very, very impressed. And I know men they can make furniture. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is amazing. Like, who does that now? Some of these lost arts, so the people valuing intelligence as something that is academic is very, very narrow. And I think that I don't think that men are intimidated by smart women. I think
No.
that they don't like being treated badly by women who act superior. But if a woman is smart in her thing, but she values something that you do in your thing, you're good. You're fine. It is a matter of attitude. It is
Right.
not a matter of intimidation over a very minor, narrow aspect.
Well, and I have a circle of friends, and some of them are single, some of them are in relationships or married, and the opinions pretty much are the same. They don't really care if the woman is considered smarter than them, or they make more money than them. It's how they are treated. That's all they care about.
Attitude. Yes, yes. There was even an article, I think it was like a few years ago, and I don't even know if I could find it now, but it was this where a lot of women who were in these high earning fields,
Hmm.
attorney, physician, things like that, a lot of them were choosing to date men in fields that were, construction or mechanic or things like that. And, because they were like, you know what, I like these men, or the other things that brought to you. I don't need to date another physician. Like, this is what I do already. So, and I don't know if this is across the board. I think it was a very article that drew attention because it was a little bit different. It's different than what people expect. I think that's why they wrote an article. But I think that the core, the idea that as long as you appreciate something about the other person, maybe you seek it out.
Hmm.
And as long as you like it and you value it, no big deal. No big deal.
Well, we kind of got serious on the subject, and I kind of like to make it a little more lighthearted now and see if we can have a little fun with this. But I'd asked my friends that were single, did you use pickup lines or anything like that to try to get women to go out with you? And nobody would confess to it.
How
So
did what did they choose then?
they just said they asked them out.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I know there are guys out there that are cheesy and they use pickup lines, and so I had to Google it.
Oh,
but I got a list of some of them. I'm not going to read all of them, but I'm going to pick out a few that I thought were really funny. And I just want your opinion as, as a woman. What do you think about these? Um, okay, this is probably one of the cheesiest, but it says, "Well, here I am. What are your other two wishes?"
oh God. Ooh, ooh.
Hey, my name's Microsoft. Can I crash at your place tonight?
Oh my goodness. Are these guys 14?
I have to ask that. Okay, this is even cheesier. Do you like raisins? How do you feel about a date?
Oh, oh dear. Oh,
Now, I've actually heard this one before. It
oh,
says, "There is something wrong with my cell phone. It doesn't have your number in it."
oh. Yeah, that does sound like, maybe something that a pickup artist would have.
Aside from being sexy, what do you do for a living?
Yeah. Oh, oh dear.
Um, Another really, really bad one. Are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see.
Oh, no. Oh no. Oh
Are you a parking ticket?
man. And I would not cop to these either. I
Uh,
would not admit that either.
I, I, I can't believe people actually say these things. But
Yeah.
okay, this one I thought was really funny. I wish I were cross-eyed so I could see you twice.
Oh man. So all of these gentlemen, if you're listening and you have used these, uh, feel free to book a session with myself and I will help you out. Yeah, you need to work on your interpersonal skills. Okay? I am dead serious. I will help you. You need help.
You definitely need help.
You
Uh,
Yeah, I think that men, and there's some guys, like you said, if you're shy and awkward, and no judgment, I am inwardly very shy and I am still awkward. So I'm not judging nobody at all. And I will say that men have the wrong idea though. The pickup line, the asking the woman, it is child's play. It's easy. I mean, I know it's hard and scary, but if you do it enough, you'll find someone to go on a date with you. It's child's play. What is very hard is being the type of man that a woman wants to go on a date with.
mm-hmm.
This involves waking up, driving, going to a job, developing some skills, having some interest, the value sets that you have and the personality, that's the hard piece. So the pickup line, whatever, and also, if some men want to have some hope, because not every man is confident or smooth with women. They may be very good in other areas, but this is something that makes them nervous. And the more they like someone, the more nervous they get. And I would say the hope for you is the only pickup line that you need is you are good at something and you are good at your job. And, so if you have two guys, you have one guy who Googles pickup lines and pickup artists and how to go to the club and whatever. And I'm assuming he's young and what, because older guys should know better. But you have that guy and he does what the pickup artists say. And he goes out and he asks a lot of women and he kind of makes small talk for a few minutes and he's learned all these lines. And so maybe he's comfortable with women. Okay, fine. He'll be okay for 30 seconds, 5 minutes, maybe one date. Then you got the other guy who is an owner of his company or works really hard at his job. He's competent and he's confident in other things. Maybe he's a little nervous or a little awkward or whatever. And as soon as the woman finds out, like, oh, you own a company? Like, oh, you speak another language? Oh, you've been to other countries? Oh, you've traveled, you with your job, you do this and that, whatever. It doesn't matter if he's a little awkward in his approach. Your only pickup line should be being a good person who has some skill sets and some values of your own. That is your pickup line. Because once the woman finds out between the two guys, I don't care how many videos and pickup artists you watch on YouTube, the woman is not going to choose you. She doesn't care. Doesn't matter how smooth you are and whatever confidence you've picked up because you've practiced many, many times. You have no job. You that's all you know how to do? Like, no, no woman is interested in that beyond
Right.
30 seconds or like just something very short term, and they don't care. The woman that the men that women like and are picky are the ones that they learn that they have something real and that they're authentic. And it truly does not matter how arc you are on the front end. That's my
Mm.
hope. That's because most guys are real. Most guys have something of their own. And, don't worry about, you know, pickup lines and this and that.
Well, at the same time, I want guys to understand. I think women do like a guy with a sense of humor. But I
Ooh,
guess you kind of have to know who you're talking to before you can do that, if you know what I mean.
ooh, you are very smart. Women, and again, not, there's a lot of things that women like, but I would say confidence and if you're funny are almost universally women like this. I mean, I guess you'll find the odd woman who doesn't like a funny man. I don't know who that woman is, but yeah, so those two things. And there are actually studies done that, men who are funny or any individual who is funny, we actually have to be quite intelligent because you to have wit you have to be able to connect things, say things. So I don't know what that says about myself because I don't get many jokes, but yes, men who are funny, you don't need a pickup line. If you're funny, you're good.
Um, I think it's important that you should make people smile. That's always been my goal is to try to make at least one person smile every day.
Yeah,
You
it's a
know, and
good.
that's, I'm not trying to be cheesy myself, but I think it's important, especially with all the negativity that goes on in the world, is to try to make somebody just smile.
Yeah, you said something interesting. You don't care if it's cheesy or whatever. I think that men, when they're talking to anybody, or women, when you start having some core values of your own and
Mm.
you're proud of things that you do and who you are, if you fall on your face or things are a little cheesy here or there, you won't care. It won't matter. It won't be a huge deal. You will take more risks and you'll try to be funny and you'll try to crack goats because you're not worried about those superficial things.
Mm.
Your goal is to make someone happy, make them smile. It's not, oh, I hope she thinks I'm funny. I mean, there's a little bit of that there too, but if you have more of a pure goal, the offset will be that you won't care how it comes across.
Well, if I could give any advice, and if I could go back and give myself advice, number one, have some confidence in yourself, love yourself, be self-aware, but don't try to be perfect.
Yes, yes. Yeah, a lot of people they are very suspicious of someone who looks too perfect
Hmm.
because they can't relate and they just intrinsically know this person is false. Because no one's like that. So, if you just go up to someone and you're real and you make a mistake or whatever, because like for myself, I always work with my friends or anybody, network for business or anything. I know I'm gonna trip through the door and spill my water. Like and I've just learned, like, okay, this is just how I am. So, there you go. And I worry about it less now. I know it's going to happen. So I'll just be like, well, I'm so sorry. And I just hope that it's not, a glass of red anything and I spilled it on them. I hope it's water and I spilled it on myself. So I agree with you. Yes.
And there are guys out there that they say, just take me as I am, and they go out and they've got wrinkly shirts on and holes in their jeans and dirty shoes on, and I wonder why they can't get a date. It's not it's not being.
Do this?
Oh yeah, there's guys that they just like you just have to take me as I am. Okay, I understand you are your own person. You should be your own
I do not
person.
understand. No, no, I do not
Well,
understand.
this is the point I'm trying to make. If you're wanting to attract somebody, you need to make yourself attractive. You know,
That I understand.
um, my wife will tell you, I make myself this talking in her shoes. She says I dress myself up for the people at work. Why can't I take the time to dress up for my husband? Now, I don't expect her to do that all the time, but she does it because she wants to, because she feels that's important. And I appreciate that. So when we go out on a date,
Yeah.
then I want to look my best. Now, yeah, we can lounge around on a Saturday or a Sunday in our shorts and t-shirts and our hair all askew and that kind of thing. And there's nothing wrong with that, but take some time for somebody and show that you appreciate them by making yourself look as attractive as you can.
Mm.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Money advice. I like it. And no, there is no accept me as I am if you're a slob. Yeah,
Hmm.
it goes back to work on some things that matter to you. This is hard work. There is no accept me as I am. Like, no, no, you have to get better and be better than what you are. If you want to
Hmm.
be successful at work, if you want a promotion, if you want new skills, you have to work at it and get better. There is no accept me as I am in corporate. That does
Exactly.
not fly. So if it does not fly in the professional realm, why would it fly in the personal realm? It does not, unless you want to stay in the basement and you are okay with other people who also are in the basement. But you will always the equilibrium. Yeah.
Well, look at it this way. I'll take the most simple example as I can. Back years and years ago, when somebody made toast, they had uh, a special device that they stuck in the fire and you could turn it over and you could toast it, right? But then as the years went on, they came up with a better device. And so before you knew it, it evolved into a toaster. And now you get a toaster oven and it does all kinds of things. Well, think of yourself like that. Improve yourself. Be the best person that you can. Be the best that you can be. The
Yeah.
best you that you can be and improve yourself. Always work on yourself. Don't be satisfied. Otherwise, you're stuck in a rut and it's very difficult to get out of that.
Yeah, no, I love it. And when you work on things for yourself, you feel good and you are proud of the things that you accomplish and your skills. And then you know what you believe. You go after things. And then when you talk to women, rejection doesn't, crush you. You have other things.
Hmm.
Yeah. And you will get less rejection because people will know that you are authentic and they are attracted to those good things.
Yeah. I mean, there's pride and there's arrogance. And I'm saying a good pride. Be proud of yourself. Just like if you have children, you want to be proud of your children. Be proud of yourself and, you know, look nice for your spouse, or if you're trying to get that date. That way they can see who you really are.
I would say tie it to something tangible. So you got the pickup artist guy who goes on YouTube and, pick up lines and how do you get women to sleep with you? And then the women learn about him and like, what's your job? What do you do for work? There's nothing tangible, real there. Maybe he's good with speaking with women because that's all he does is he goes clubbing and talks to women and that's all he has. It's child's play and you won't be with someone, not for very long. But then you got another guy and they tie it to something real. I have this job, I have this skill, I'm the owner of my company, or I am working on something, I'm learning something. No matter what stage you are, you're the young 19-year-old in college, or you're, the established owner, later in life. It doesn't matter where you are in the continuum. Tie it to something real
Hmm.
and that's when you're proud of yourself. The pickup artists are also proud of themselves, but no woman is impressed with them.
But what kind of level of pride are you talking about? There's the right kind of pride where you take care of yourself, and then there are those that are arrogant with their pride. It's like, oh, I am God's gift to women, and that's where you.
To the things that women like. The person who is very confident and prideful of his appearance and his nice outfits, and he goes to the club and he can talk to women and he's so super proud of himself,
Right.
he feels good about himself. The things that he's tying this arrogance to are not the things that women value.
Exactly.
Women don't care about that. So, what is your job? What do you do all day? Who's your family? Who's your friends? You have to tie these things to something real. And what is real can be values. What is real can be your belief systems. What is real can be skills and accomplishments. So tie it to something real, and that is the kind of confidence that women will like when it's tied to something. The other things that you tie it to, like you may be good with women and be able to pick women up at the club, and who cares?
That's true.
I mean,
And what?
maybe some women like that. I'm not impressed. I'm impressed zero, zero.
Well, we will get into this other topic that I would like to talk about on another show. But there are those people out there that will just sleep with anybody. So whatever
Hmm,
you really accomplished, we'll get into that subject another time.
sure.
We've
Ooh,
actually spent a
yes, that'll be fun.
we actually spent quite a bit of time on this subject. I hope it helps, and just go out there and give it a try, guys.
Yes, I would say for the men, if you are real, don't worry about all this other superficial stuff that the world says is important. Tie everything to something tangible and real, and you'll be okay. And you'll be okay with women too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Rachel. I appreciate it.
Thank you too.
I can't wait for the next conversation.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Stay tuned for the next one. See you then. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, because it's only through your support that we're able to continue doing the things that we do. And until the next one, have a great, great day.